ABC24 This Week starts right now.
Hello, and thank you for joining us on ABC24 This Week. I am your host, Pepper Baker. You are here for the real stories behind the big stories, and I hope you'll continue to join us every Sunday at 9 a.m., 10:35 p.m., or by streaming 24+. Okay, ABC24 political analyst Otis Sanford is off today, so we have a new dynamic at the table. Sam Hardiman with the Daily Memphian taking Otis's seat. Shelby County Young Democrats chair, that's Catherine Winsley, and then Shelby County Young Republicans chair, Ann Elizabeth Metcalf. Thank you all so much for being here.
Yes, thank you for having us.
Perfect. All right, let's get to the topics here. We are devoting the first two segments to all things elections related. So first we'll talk about the Shelby County general election races. Then we'll play a game of what if, and that's making some primary predictions for the state and federal races. Lastly, we will discuss Shelby County commissioners approving $125 million in loans and whether that's common practice or a desperate attempt to cover reckless spending. Back to number one, Saturday, August 1st is the last day of early voting for the Shelby County general and state and federal primaries. Election day is August 6th. And by the time you see our next show, we will know who voters elected for county mayor, sheriff, clerk, commission, and some school board seats. Now, at the time of this recording, which is Thursday, the latest update from the Secretary of State's website and the Shelby County Election Commission had counted over 60,000 early and absentee votes. So, Sam, I'm going to have you lead it off for us. We're seeing over 60,000 turnout at this point. Does that give any indication of how that what election day we could expect there?
No.
Oh, short answer always with you. Okay, well, is it a promising start?
I don't know. I mean, it could be a promising start. It could show that there is great interest in this election, which clearly it matters. It really does matter to the future of Memphis and Shelby County. Or it could just be early voting is really convenient because you can go anywhere to vote. You don't need to go to your precinct. And you have all these days to do it. So you can do it on your way to work. And so maybe that's what people are doing because it's a partisan primary, maybe motivated to do it. And as we've seen on election day in the past, particularly in the May primary, kind of a meh.
Toss-up.
Meh.
Yeah, we are seeing also that right now Democrats are outvoting Republicans at this point. Just any other trends that you've seen over the years that maybe can lend a little more information of how these elections go? I
mean, I always keep in mind with these primaries, it's an open primary. You don't have to be a bona fide member of the party to pull a ballot. And so who's to say that, yeah, they're likely slightly more Democrats in Memphis and Shelby County, not probably slightly, more Democrats in Memphis and Shelby County than there are Republicans, but it's still the largest bastion of Republican voters is in this state, in this county. It's 1 in 10 roughly. And so I don't know. There could be Republicans that are honestly, who I elect as a Democrat matters more than the general.
Yeah, and we know total registered voters is somewhere between 550 to 600,000. So 50,000 or 60,000 of that is still not quite a lot. So, Catherine, I'm going to ask you here, what race are you watching closely, or what do you think, who do you think voters should which one should voters keep an eye on?
I think I would like to keep an eye on the sheriff's race, actually. I know this is a little shift, but it's important that we address the concerns at 201 Poplar. And I know the sheriff would be responsible, head person in charge to address these concerns. And so I'm looking at that race. I know it's been a little back and forth, a little commentary from both sides going on. It's been really interesting to see. And so, Pepper, I think it will be a race to watch, and I'm interested to see who comes out as the winner.
Okay, so I'm curious to know your thoughts about the argument around Chief Deputy Anthony Buckner, who's running as the Democratic nominee, already having been very ingrained in the sheriff's department there. You know, a lot of people might think that he's part of the problem. Or does he know how to fix the problem because he's been ingrained in law enforcement or sheriff's office?
Well, we have seen him rise into the ranks, but make no mistake about it, Sheriff Bonner was running that whole operation, and so it would be interesting to see when he takes place and when he's leading the charge, will he work collaboratively with the administration in order to properly address this concern? Because in this current one, we've seen our mayor and our sheriff go back and forth and say, oh, it's their concern or it's their concern. Well, what will it look like when they both come together and address this concern, which has to, because it's a humanitarian crisis at this point, and so we need leadership on all sides to come together, collaborate, and focus and find a solution. Because that's what the people deserve, is a solution towards these concerns.
Okay. And Elizabeth, what do you think stands out? And we know Republican Brad Less is the nominee. So what do you think stands out from his campaign for sheriff?
I think Brad Less ultimately is obviously the Republican candidate in our sheriff's race, and so he is really standing firm on being tough on crime and making sure that we are holding people accountable, that we are not letting people out of the jails super early and keeping them held to their bonds, and just ultimately making sure that our communities are safe and that people are here to be able to raise families and feel comfortable doing that. So.
Yeah, he's had that messaging for sure. So what other race are you kind of keeping a close eye on?
Yeah, I would say that we're definitely all hands behind Ed Apple in District 13. He is a very strong conservative. He is a lifelong Memphian. He truly, truly is for the working class, and he's been endorsed by the Workers' Labor Union. He's a great candidate, and he is door knocked locally with us. He's on the grounds and not afraid to shake people's hands and be in the community and do what's best for our communities. And so, yeah, I would definitely say Ed Apple, and that's kind of where I'm watching that race for sure.
Now, you're talking commission at this point. Yeah, we haven't really touched too much on commission. So, Sam, I'll ask you here, the dynamic of the commission coming in. Like, how will it change? What's at stake for this governing body?
I mean, we're going to see, many new members. We're going to see a new county mayor. And so we're going to get a dynamic that has been, Catherine mentioned it a few minutes ago with the county mayor and the sheriff, but I would argue the county commission and the mayor, at least parts of the county commission and the mayor, they've been at loggerheads too. And to back up about two on Poplar, it's a solution. Whomever gets elected, they're going to have to go find $1 billion because that's what it's going to cost for a new jail. And whether or not it can be revamped or that's not for me to say, but we're talking about in terms of capital needs for Memphis and Shelby County, whomever gets elected, we got probably $1 billion for new jail. You got all the deferred maintenance for Memphis and Shelby County schools, okay? You have all of that. You have a juvenile court that maybe needs to be replaced. It's a lot of government bonds that need to be issued, and those need to be paid for by revenue, and you have a county that is flat in terms of population, and you have an economy that is struggling with inflation nationwide, not just Memphis and Shelby County. So. Everybody just buckle up and get your pencils ready. That's what I'd say.
I am happy you touched on commission, but we're running close to time now. I want to know who you all think out of the sheriff, county mayor, and the clerk's office, which one has the most likelihood of flipping red? Because those are all Democrat right now.
Yeah. I think our mayor race is definitely one to watch. DeBerry is an individual who has a very compelling story. He's captivating. He has relationships in Nashville and cares about the Memphis community. So he knows how to advocate for us here at a local level, but at the state level as well. Yeah, I would definitely say keep your eyes out for DeBerry, and he is here for the people. He hasn't raised as much money as his opponent, but he is on the grounds, he's grassroots, and he truly, truly cares about the communities and the safety and education of Memphis.
So, Catherine, who do you think will have the tightest race?
Well, the tightest race, oh gosh. I feel like, honestly, I'm locked in on my Democratic ticket. I'm 10 toes down with my candidates, and we are all supporting them. I think they have a tough task ahead, no matter the role, but absolutely it will be close. I think what might be contentious is the clerk's race, because that office has seen a lot of tension there with trying to get the operation working, and Sam touched on it a bit. That's a revenue stream, the clerk's office, and so who will rise above the fray in order to make sure that we're getting that revenue in order to make payroll at Shelby County or to give the services to the people.
Okay, great commentary there, y'all. Good start here.